lower control arm to the motor, to the differential, transmission, and then transfer case, and then gas tank. Then, to finish it off, rear diff skid as well. What is up, friends? Welcome back to Blanco Bronco Adventures, and we're still building a 6th gen Bronco for SEMA. Yeah, deadlines. We've put the camera down for a few minutes to get some things done that was just boring stuff. You wouldn't have cared about it, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you updates anyway. Check out what we have been doing to this Bronco. So first off, you can tell, something's different up here. We got the grill out of it. Why? Well, it just seemed appropriate. Because we had to get to our headlights. Notice the headlights are gone. What are we doing there? Let me show you. We got some stuff, more stuff showing up. I mean, yeah, if you know, you know. Got the Alpha Rex headlights. Gonna be going in the Bronco. Gonna look super, super good. So we got to get those in before we can do the grill. And then we've got to get the bumper from Washington. Anyway, that's not a big deal. We've also been starting to play with our wiring from our XK glow system. Got the positive and negative hooked up and a few of the wires. So each of these is a positive and a ground, and they correspond to a channel up on the receiver in the Bronco, the switch panel. So our first channel, we've got ditch lights, and then our second channel, we've got more ditch lights. Then our third channel, we're gonna have a little light bar on the front of the Bronco, and then our fourth channel is rock lights. So we're plugging right along there, I love this because it makes the wiring so simple. Plus, we've done the right thing and abandoned all of our Bronco auxiliary switches, so that's cool. Then, in the interior, we got things happening. We took it apart more. We got the door panels gone. They're getting recovered. The ugly tan that was on there just wouldn't do. So those are out getting recovered. And then, check it out. We have got our lights finally figured out. Now, this was a task, and it wasn't a crazy hard task, but nevertheless,
it wasn't easy.
A task.
It was not easy.
I'm glad there's smart people in the world, right?
Post to forums.
The post to forums.
Yeah, go team.
I don't remember the name on the forum, but there's a guy that figured this out for us, and we just copied his instructions. Here's the thing. To do this the right way, I thought it would be easy to just pull power and ground from the dome light to turn on whatever lights you want. No, wrong. Broncos are smart. I'm not. So we had to take the little computer board that's in the dome light, and we just made it simple and hired a professional nerd to solder some stuff on there.
Say that.
I can, because nerds are awesome. I wouldn't have had the patience to do it. So here's what he did. He took a little tiny wire and soldered it to a computer board. I couldn't do that, no way. Then I got it home and immediately broke it.
100%.
Yeah.
Ripped it right off.
Right out of there. So I took it right back, and they were kind enough to fix it for me again. Anyway, once you have these wires soldered into place, we'll post the link to the forum down below if you want to do the same thing.
Super cool.
It's really not expensive. If you can solder yourself, it won't be expensive at all.
I think the clips were like 10 bucks.
Yeah, it was super inexpensive, and it works. As soon as the dome light powers on, any auxiliary lighting that you want to run powers on. It even fades in and out.
The dimmer.
So that's really cool. So super excited that we finally got that checked off the list, but it's really not checked off the list yet, because I don't know where these lights are actually going to line out with the Armadillo hardtop. So most likely, I'm going to have to pull all that back apart when the top gets here. We're still undecided when that's going to be. Hopefully sooner than later. Anyway, we've also been doing nothing but cleaning and painting, and painting and cleaning. We currently have the rear end disassembled. We got the coilover out of there.
Restoration process.
Restoration on a 2-year-old vehicle. Anyway, the frame was roached with rust and it didn't look good. So we grounded it all down and put some fresh black Krylon spray paint in there. And then while we had the quarter off, I figured I'd finish Ford's job and paint this, instead of just leaving it bare metal. we finally have most of the components to the body shop for the Fun Haver body kit. And then up here in the front, we're doing the same thing. Painted some of the areas where Ford missed. And then, here, I'll come to this side, it's much better. We got our suspension all freshened up. Now, here's the deal. I just used black spray paint. But look at that lower control arm. It was silver to begin with. Now it's black. And I love that it just hides in plain sight. You know, the silver, it looked cool, but this is different. And we want to be different, you know, anyway. So front suspension's back together. We're waiting on the fenders. And then we also, right here, made these ginormous
They look huge. Go look at it.
inner fender liners. We're gonna take and put some undercoating on them, you know, to make it look nice. And so you don't realize I used tin to do it. Check these out. These are the rear DV8 inner fender liners, and we put some undercoating on them. You know, now it's rubber. It's much nicer.
It's a lot quieter.
Yeah, a lot quieter. And you know, we got the second one. So now we're waiting for the little screen thingies to get back in here, and then we can put them back in the Bronco. Notice our wheels and tires still aren't mounted. That's fine.
It's fine. So, TPMS sensors.
Let's talk about tire pressure sensor monitors. I think that's right.
It was the opposite, but that's okay.
Whatever. Talk about it.
Oh, you want me to talk about it? It's my turn?
You started the conversation.
Well, we need some because we have bead locks and we don't want to break the beads on all of our stock tires.
I got.
And we bought some on KSL. You know, you get on KSL, you look up what you need.
That's a local website to the Southeast Idaho, Utah area. That
It's like
you
Craigslist.
Yeah, it's like Craigslist, but it's like kind of local.
So
you
he
know?
found a really good deal.
Yeah,
Venmoed the guy money. He
Yeah.
mailed us the part.
got him.
It's a Chevy part.
Yeah, for a
Come to
Ford.
find out.
Guess what? That doesn't work.
Ford
So,
didn't like it.
you know, $80 down the drain. It's
Yeah.
fine. So we did the right thing and bought the cheapest ones online that we could find
Yep.
that say they work.
And got him overnighted.
So if they're wrong, then it's Miss Monica's fault, not mine. I tried my part. It didn't work. We tried and tried and tried. I even went to the tire shops and they're like, we're not even sure what these are for, you know? Anyway, so don't get got online like I did. Anyway, for today, we're gonna get the rear suspension, tried to button all back up. Probably won't happen as quick as I want it to. It's gonna happen, but it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
Gonna get it cleaned up, get it back together, and then the goal for today, two things. Notice the hat I'm wearing? This is Mikellis body lifts. We've got body lift incoming. You can get body lifts for your Bronco or anything else,
Yeah, just about anything else.
just about, in almost any size you want. So currently, we're running an 1.5-inch body lift, which has been great. I have rubbed tire 0 times. But the bumper gap, I wasn't ever happy with it. We had the filler panels and they worked and they were good, but anytime I needed to do anything with the bumper, they would just seem like it was just another step that I didn't want to have to play with. So we're going from an 1.5-inch body lift to a 1-inch body lift.
Yeah.
You know, 1/2 inch of difference, that's huge. So these pucks go right in place, just like the 1.5-inch ones. Even comes with provided hardware, you know, get it right. Then this body can come down just a little bit. I think with a 1-inch body lift on a Bronco, you probably won't notice the body gap, I think at all. But that's just my opinion.
We're about to find out.
We're gonna be proved right or wrong. But I can't do that till I have bumpers on. So, next step for today, we've got all these boxes from MetalCloak. Burying, by the way, a 69 early Bronco. That's fine. We got to get that Bronco back out. That it's time. So, all of our MetalCloak skid plates are going to go on the Bronco. Starting with, in the rear, we got shock skids. Finally, look at that gold. Absolutely love it. Plus, you've got the MetalCloak M in there. This is some quality stuff. Now, if you remember right, we've been running the MetalCloak rear track bars, or track bar, and upper and lower trailing arms. They have been awesome, especially compared to stock, where the stock ones are hollow pieces of pipe that can bend really easy. So we are super excited to have all the MetalCloak stuff going on today. Plus, that's a huge dent in our project. Once we get the MetalCloak skid plates on, and then we get the body lift done, and then we get the interior done, and then we get the body kit done. Oh, and by the way, we're getting a hood. We'll talk more about that later. Then once we get the wheels and tires on and done, and then we get the roof on and done, then it's almost a SEMA built Bronco.
A roof rack and light bars.
Light bars in the roof rack. That's going to be a thing. I don't know if my roof rack's going to work, but I'm going to make it work. I love my roof rack. You want a sneak peek at what the wheels and tires are going to look like? They look so good. Look at this. Boom. Got one mounted up. Now, we only mounted it up because that's the spare tire. Remember the conversation where I don't have the correct TPMS sensors? Did I say it right?
That one's missing one. Yes, you did.
That one's missing one because it's our spare. And right now, we're actually going to be deleting our spare tire. What? Why? Whoa. Well, less is more sometimes. So our friends at MetalCloak also set us up with a spare tire delete. Now, disclaimer, yours ain't gonna look this good because yours ain't gonna have the Bronco Adventures logo in it. What is that? Well, we were thinking for SEMA, we don't want to run our license plate. That's ugly. So Miss Monica jumped on the internet and found a place where you can custom make license plates, and she just shot her logo on there. So it's gonna look cool.
Easy.
And the cops are never gonna care about that, ever.
They're gonna have to type that into
They're
their
gonna
computer
type that into their computer because I'm gonna leave it. Anyway, bumper. We've got the stock bumper coming. Our friends are currently running the Rubicon and then going to be in Carson City, Nevada for Bronco Super Celebration. But we bought a front modular bumper off of a Raptor.
A fresh one.
Fresh one.
Fresher.
And guess what? They're bringing it to us. When they leave Carson City, they're going to be driving through our area. And so our friend Brad is bringing us the front bumper. Super excited about that. Saves us a little bit of time. Plus then as soon as it gets here, hopefully I can just install it. It's probably not the case, but I'm gonna try it. Probably gonna have to paint it or powder coat it or something, make it different. I can't just leave anything alone. Look at this poor Bronco. I mean, it's been not left alone. Anyway, rear bumper. We got some things we need to talk about on this spare tire delete. Look at this. So we got rear bumper off of here. Looks good, you know. Don't worry about the jack. It's supporting the rear end right now. So the MetalCloak rear bumper is going to look far, far superior than that molded, blown plastic tub of a bumper that Ford claimed was good. So the MetalCloak bumper is going to look sweet. Again, another goal for today. Get that thing on there. But look at this.
Here's the problem, though.
We took off our spare tire reinforcement plate thingy.
Tailgate reinforcement.
Tailgate reinforcement from Mountains of Metal. And the paint is yellow.
Like, not just like, oh, let's wipe that real quick.
No.
It doesn't wipe, it's in the paint.
It's in the paint. It's in the clear coat. Miss Monica started just scrubbing away, you know, Cinderella style.
Yeah.
And it came up.
Took
but
me
it's
over an hour
to
do that.
And that's not cool. The only thing I can figure, and I don't know this, we reached out and we're talking to them like, hey, if anybody else reported this problem, which is a hard no, always. On the rear tire thingy, there's rubber on the back of it.
It's a gasket.
It's a gasket. And I think that rubber gasket, from just being smushed in there for so long, we haven't had it on there that long, probably less than a year at this point, it discolored it. Rubbers have all sorts of things in them. And depending on what we've been washing the Bronco with, or, anything getting in there, acid rain. It was the rain with the acid in it. Anyway, it just pulled stuff out of that rubber and just stained our tailgate.
Yeah, but now what do we do?
So now is what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to cut and buff this to bring it back The sun's really
And
bright.
if that doesn't work, we're gonna wrap it.
Yeah,
We're gonna like
I think we decided on that.
sticker over it real quick.
Something
Something
to do away with that.
to hide that for a minute till we can fix it.
Someday we're going to do something really cool with this tailgate, but that is not today. That's another future SEMA build project when we're not in SEMA. Did that make sense? Anyway, here's the boring stuff that I'm going to accomplish right now. I'm going to get under there, take off all the old skid plates. We've got to paint the rear end, and then we've got to get the coilovers in. Probably going to throw in the shock skids. They're super self-explanatory. And then also we've got a differential skid too. Super excited about that. Then I'm going to continue to clean all the mud off of this. If you come to SEMA, don't slam our doors too hard.
And don't look in the frame, like just
Because
admire the outside of the frame.
I'm painting over some mud in places and it's fine. It's going to be okay because guess what? We're going to use this thing still. It's not the first or the last time it's going to be clean or dirty. Okay.
It's just the first
It's just
car show.
the first car show, you know.
Official car show.
Officially official. Anyway, we're gonna get to work and we will catch up. So here's where we're at. Miss Monica's getting some stuff disconnected from the rear end so we can paint it and, you know, make it shiny again. And I am working on the Mikellis body lift. Now, a few things to know. The front bolts, I've got it out already. Don't use impacts on these because we've had and heard of people actually stripping out the mount that's in the body, which if you do that, may the odds be ever in your favor of getting that thing back out. Second thing to know about a body lift, the little puck. Some people have chamfers and stuff cut into them, and then you have to know which way's up and which way's down. Well, Mikellis has just put the chamfer on all the sides. So you can put this thing in any configuration. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is on Bronco at least, you have 2 bolts that go specifically for the front end. It's a different thread pitch, I think. Might be different length also. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that the front bolts only go to the front. There's 2 of them, 1 for each side. Then the rest of them, all 12, I think it is, or yeah, 12, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 other ones, math's hard for me, are the same. Make sure you put the washer on the bolt, put some Loctite on it, and then just get them started in by hand. Run it in with a ratchet. Don't use your air tools. If you spin that nut inside the body, good luck. So now that I've got all the body mounts out on the passenger side, I'm going to use my jack and just jack up underneath the rocker panel. You don't have to do much. Just get the pressure off of the frame. I'm going to take my 1.5" body lift out, insert my 1 inch, set it back down, tighten my bolts in, and then we're going to the driver's side. Check out my sketchy jack situation. It's fine. Use all the old lumber. It's better that way. Anyway, all we got is just a little pressure off of our body. And boom, out with the 1.5" body lift and in with the 1 inch. I am super excited about this, not having to run a body gap filler panel. And to be honest, I mean, 1/2 inch, is it really that much of a difference? Well, yeah, it's 1/2 inch. That's a lot. So we got our bolts, we got our washer. All I gotta do is put some Loctite on this, run it up through here, and get it started into the body. Once everything is all the way done, the next one is simply right here. Then all we gotta do, set the body back down, run these bolts in, torque them down. I'll find the torque spec and let you know. And then you're done. You've officially body lifted your Bronco. Body lifts are a thing of the past, but we still have them. And the reason I recommend to run one is to not rub on anything. You see all these trucks with the fenders having to be cut, bumpers having to be trimmed. With a body lift, you can avoid that as long as you're okay with having a little bit of gap on your frame. I think a 1 inch body lift is going to be perfect, but you can get it clear down to 1/2 inch body lift. So if you want to go just a little, but not a lot, Mikellis has the solution for you. Now, I'm okay with a little bit of gap away hole in here because when we're working on our coilover, it's really hard to get your hand in here to get to the bolts. So I'm okay if we have just a little extra. So this is gonna be awesome. I need the Loctite. Get the sketchy jack out of the way. Now, I have looked at this Bronco for the last almost 2 years with an 1.5-inch body lift, and I can see the 1/2 inch of difference. Plus, if you look at the back, since we haven't done the driver's side yet, literally you've got 1 inch, 1.5 inches. I mean, if you really sit and squint your eyes, you can see it. I can see it. I am very excited about this. Now, torque your bolts down. Don't want your body coming off of the frame. You know, your truck doesn't work like that. The very front bolt that's different is a 19mm. All of these bolts you want to torque down to 70 foot-pounds with some Loctite, and just double check them. Go from front to back, back to front. Simple. And then do the same thing on the other side. The other bolts are a 22mm. So front to back, back to front, that's how I'm gonna do it, 70 foot-pounds. And boom, just like that, driver's side done, all the way down with the 1-inch body lift. I've looked at this Bronco for 2 years with an 1.5 inch body lift on there, and I am in love with this 1 inch. I personally believe that a 1-inch body lift, you're not gonna notice the gap when the bumpers are on there. Right now, it's really not doing it justice. This is a good one you can see. But you're not gonna notice a crazy big body gap once the bumper's on there. I can't wait to get a bumper on there. So as soon as Miss Monica is done taping off the rear end, we're gonna paint it. Then we're gonna start to install some MetalCloak goods. Probably starting with the rear bumper, because I just wanna see the body gap. An 1.5 inch was a little much. I think 1 inch is gonna be perfect. It's gonna split that difference. But if that's too much for you, Mikellis has smaller body lifts too. So check them out. Huge shout out to Mikellis for sponsoring our SEMA build with a body lift. We absolutely love it. If you guys want one, check out the description below and go check it out. I am so excited. Body lifts, in my opinion, are necessary to prevent rubbing, and I think we've accomplished that. But I will definitely prove myself right or wrong. Anyway, next thing coming in now. And just like all projects, it's the next day. Things escalated last night. We had some more body work done. So what's that mean? Well, we had to put the quarter back on. Look how good that looks. It's in primer. Getting close to being painted and finally on the Bronco forever and ever. You know, today is skid plate day. Also yesterday, what else happened, Miss Monica?
We got the rear bumper on.
The rear bumper is on. And the rear end is painted.
Yeah.
We got things accomplished, but we just started going and going and going, and then realized, well, we're going to have to give you an update.
Yeah.
Today, we're getting all the MetalCloak skid plates laid out, but let me show you this rear bumper first. Here it is. Super easy to install. This bumper comes in like 3 pieces. You got your corner end cap, your middle section, and then another corner end cap. And we had to hang our DV8 tow hooks on there. Looks so good. Now, there was a couple things worth mentioning with the bumper install. If you have sensors, backup sensors, parking sensors like we do, the factory harness, you've got to take your time and cut it apart. There's enough wiring in it to move the sensors to the new locations, but
you need to pull the wire out of the loom.
You got to take the wire out of the loom, then tape it all up, re-loom it, you know. So,
Loomed.
yeah. So that took some time and some effort, but it's in, it's done, it's good to go.
Oh, also don't tighten the end caps
Yeah.
until it's on.
Yeah, leave it loose.
Then you gotta loosen
We
it.
found out. We were just going off the instructions and we were building the thing and put it on there, and the 2 bottom bolts that you reused were just out of whack. So loosened it all up, zipped it all together. Now it's good to go. And now it's scratched. It's fine.
No.
We'll fix it.
Barely.
Barely scratched. Where the head of the bolt tightened in, you can see a rub mark. So, you know, SEMA, we got to fix it.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So now we are doing skid plates. All of the MetalCloak under skid system for the Bronco. They call it the undercloak, I think.
Is it?
I believe it's the undercloak.
Okay.
The undercloak. You know, like if you're in Harry Potter.
That's not a thing. That should be a thing.
I think it's called the undercloak. Anyway, we're putting it on today. We're going with the gold. Check this out. All of the necessary hardware and plenty of stickers included. Stickers matter. These are all the brackets that you've got to mount to the Bronco to accept all of the undercloak system. Now, Allen heads, recessed washers, it's all in here. And per the instructions, it all is marked on exactly how you need to lay it out. Sun is bright. I'm about to blind you with some gold. Check this out. So for your viewing pleasure, we have all the skid plates laid out. You have a differential skid plate, the motor skid plate, transmission skid plate, a little bit of transmission, and also very important transfer case skid plate. Then you do have a 2-piece gas tank skid plate, front half, back half. And then, super excited about this, a differential skid plate. Now, our differential, boy, it's tweaked. Like the gouges, and I painted it so it looks good now, but it is super not happy with all the rock crawling we've done. So that skid plate is going to be huge important. And check this out. Just dropped this morning all the way from Spokane, Washington. We have got a Raptor bumper going on the Bronco. We're going to fix the silver. Can't have silver. We're going to fix that silver too. Our friends took this bumper all the way down to the Rubicon, did the trail, and then our friend Brad brought us the bumper all the way from the Rubicon.
Delivered to the shop.
Yeah. It was kind of a trade thing. He needed a tailgate from a junkyard we live close to, so we just got the tailgate, and he come and picked that up, and then he dropped the bumper off. So it worked out great. Ed trucked it all the way down to Supercell, Nevada, and then now we got it. So, you know, save on freight. Just call your buddies. Anyway, yeah, those skid plates are bright. Ooh. I'm super excited to have them installed. Oh, let me show you this. The gas tank skid plate that I made, number one, it's like 200 pounds. It's huge. Look at how much sand hollow we now own. And some of Ed's pasture. Look at that. That's a lot of stuff. Now, I made this skid plate because I truly believe you need a 1-piece skid plate for the gas tank because it bends. What I'm seeing with this MetalCloak skid plate, even though it's 2-piece, the joint is further back. So I'm thinking, hoping, that if it was to bend, it's not going to push up the tank so much that we don't hold a full tank of fuel, because that's frustrating. So first things first, we're starting with the differential skid plate, motor skid plate, and we're just going down the line. So jump in here and check this out. All right, so we're making progress on our skid plate install. We're just looking for hardware for our sway bar. Are you the type of person that deleted your sway bar? Yes or no? Comment below, tell us. We took ours off. I drove it down the road one time and went, nah, I'm putting it back on. I could feel the body roll. So I'm used to this Bronco with a sway bar, so it's gonna stay with a sway bar. Anyway, check this out. We've got a few of the brackets in place here from MetalCloak. So you've got your transmission cross member. Mine is trashed because we ran this Bronco without skid plates for a minute. These front bolts jump to these back bolts right in here. This bracket is really cool. It's designed so it slides literally over your bolt heads and then spans this here. This is going to be for your transmission skid plate. Then, if you glance over to the other side, you can see those nice gold brackets there. Those are also going to hold the transmission and the gas tank skid plate. So your gas tank is going to be completely protected. Look at the dent in my gas tank. Wow. I hope that comes out of there. That is far worse than I've ever seen it. Here's the thing. No matter what kind of skid plate protection you run, just run skid plates, because look at this transfer case. I've hit this obviously on some rocks, and my Bronco, I didn't order it with any skid plates except for the front skid and the motor skid. So that's on me. Here again, It's not leaking, so is it really a big deal? I don't think so, but now's the time to protect it. So super excited to try out these MetalCloak skids. Let's keep bolting stuff up. I'm gonna put this sway bar back, and then I think next is the transmission skid. So join us along here. And here we are. We got our first, technically 3 skid plates on. We've got the motor skid plate, which is Miss Monica's working on. Then we've got the differential skid plate. We've also got our A-arm, lower control arm skid plates in. We did that when we were doing the suspension because I just felt like it'd be easier to do it while it was off the vehicle than on it. And it was harder. So put it on the vehicle and then put the skid plate on. Anyway, learn from my mistakes. Then we've got the transmission skid plate being held up, and we're trucking right along. I mean, look at this poor Bronco. There's so much mud under here. These skid plates, hopefully, are just going to hold in the mud.
This is clean compared to what it was.
Super clean. Like,
it's detailed. It's like, I'm good.
A lot of clean. So we're just loosely getting all the hardware in place. We're going to mount all the skid plates and then final tighten everything down. So we're trucking right along. I'm liking it. Gold, team gold.
So shiny.
Shiny. So you know you're extremely successful when that's your last piece of garbage in the pile. We have officially got the Bronco MetalCloak skid plate system on the undercloak. I'm an absolute sucker for the zinc coating that MetalCloak does. It's that old school kind of like Mylodon, like hot rod racer type thing.
Megalodon?
No, Mylodon, I think is what it's called. Okay. Could be wrong. It's been a long, long weekend. Anyway, the gold, guess what? Exposed to the elements, it could fade, it could discolor, it could do things. So, Ms. Monica, how do you protect it?
Clear coat.
Clear coat.
Spray paint, clear coat.
Just clear coat it. MetalCloak says if you don't, you run the risk of it kind of going to like brown color. Fading. Yeah. I've seen some out there that literally it looks like a brown pipe underneath the Bronco. But there again, if you want to protect that, clear coat before you put it together. Our bars have been holding up nicely. So one thing we learned, don't use like a sponge on it, like the green side of a sponge. It's such a coarse material, it scratches it. And then it rusts.
Just a rag.
Just a rag. If you get like overspray with some paint or something on it, just use some like rubbing alcohol or something to take it off. But this looks so good. I can't wait to show you. Check this out. Quite literally from the lower control arm to the motor to the differential, transmission, and then transfer case, and then gas tank. Then to finish it off, rear diff skid as well. This system looks tough, but you know, like we always do, we're gonna put it through its paces. But it's got to look good for SEMA, you know. So we'll get under here and we'll buff it, maybe. I don't know. It's a lot of work.
I never thought we'd be cleaning skid plates.
Cleaning skid plates is not our forte. So this is probably the one and only. We use the cardboard to not scratch it, you know. Probably the one and only time it's going to look this good. But we will keep care of them, you know. Our other skid plates held up very, very nicely. This is just a good upgrade. We are super excited to give something else a try that's out there on the market. We test stuff, you know, and then we let you know. And I'm impressed with MetalCloak stuff this far, so we'll keep you.
Pretty straightforward install.
It really wasn't bad. The instructions were actually pretty good. Some of the stuff, like on our Bronco, we didn't have some of the hardware. Well, they send it just in case you don't have it. So if there's some things in the instructions that you're like, hey, I don't have that bolt, well, just check the pile of bolts that comes with it, because it's all in there, guaranteed.
Unless you drop it.
We dropped one bolt.
It's gonna live
R.I.P.
It's gonna live in there.
It was the nut, actually. It's in the rear diff skid.
My hands don't fit.
It was the last one, and I was not about to take it all apart. So it'll jingle jangle around forever, unless we like get in an articulated situation.
You know those motorcycles that they put the bells in?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's our little road gremlin thing, you know. For every time it jingles, it's a road gremlin falling off. So that's okay. This weekend has been very productive on the SEMA build. We got the Mikellis body lift installed. I am loving how the bumper gaps are going to lay out. I can already see it.
And the bumper.
And the bumper. We got all the MetalCloak skid plates on. We got the MetalCloak bumper on. We've got stuff happening finally. We're accomplishing things, and that feels good. This whole process has been like, we put something on and then we have to take it back off. And then we put something else on and then we have to take it back off. Just like this quarter. It's primered. And then I went and picked it up and I put it back on. And now I got to take it off because today's Sunday and take it back to the body shop so Monday they can keep working on it. So it's just a process, but stick with it.
Trust
you can
the process.
do it. Trust the process. For now, get off your couch and go create your own adventure. We'll see you next time.
Bronco Adventures.